Hey y'all, thank you very much for tuning in. Hope you guys have a most excellent day today. So today we have another Battletech unboxing for you, and this time it is the Inner Sphere support lance. Let's take a look at that for you guys. So this is another one of the lance packs that came with a Kickstarter that recently completed and should be available in stores near you. Now, if you're looking for a store in the South Wales area, I do recommend Mayhem Wargames over in Tredegar. They are a lovely establishment, just opened up this weekend. Excellent dude running it. Met him and his wife when we went down there and had a look. So yeah, definitely go check Mayhem Wargames out. I will put a link in the description below to their Facebook and website. But without any further waffling, let's open this mech pack up and have a look at the mechs that come with it. So as always, we have the Alpha Strike cards and the Pilot Flavor cards here. Nice little addition as always. And let's get this out to have a look at the mechs themselves. So, there are 4 mechs in here as always, and we'll start with the lightest one and work the way up. And the first one up is the Spider. Let's see if we can get that into focus for you guys. So as you can see, this is another lovely sculpt pulled off by the Catalyst Game Labs people. Check that out. That is absolutely excellent. And if we spin this around, you can see that this guy is a jumpy little bastard with 8 jump jets. That's right guys, this guy can move 8, 12, 8 on the battlefield, and that's even as early as 3025 era. And when he gets there, he has 2 medium lasers to really punish people, and when it gets to the later eras, those become pulse lasers. This guy can be ripping off a +4 modifier to be hit, while at the same time really hurting the enemy, getting up behind them, jumping about like a little mad lunatic. Really nice little mech. It's a 30-tonner. And it has alright armour for a light mech. Obviously, it does sacrifice some of it to get that extra speed and everything going on. But definitely a really nice little mech. Great for jumping about, getting the penalties up to be hit. So, you know, even if the guy's coming at you like 1, 2, or 2, 3 pilots, they're going to have a hard time hitting this dude where it matters. Really lovely sculpt as well. I really love all these jump jets on the back. I really do like this mech. This is something else. I mean, they've really gone all out with these new mechs. They really have pulled off some lovely sculpts. So yeah, that is the first mech on this pack. That is the Spider. Next up, we are going to be looking at this mech here. We will be looking at the Dragon, which is a nice 60-ton mech. I always used to think this was a rather ugly mech back in the day, but it's had a real glow up with the new Kickstarter stuff. It is a really nice looking model. I actually quite like this now. And if we spin this around for you guys, you can get a good look at the back if it focuses. There we go. And even though this is a 60-ton mech, it's not actually that heavily armed. I mean, usually 60-tonners are loaded for bear, but this one actually sacrifices quite a lot to get some speed in. It's usually armed with either an autocannon 2 or an autocannon 5, an LRM-10, and a couple of medium lasers, one of which sometimes is pointing backwards. So it's not that heavily armed, but it can do 5/8 movement, and it's got the armour of a 60-ton mech. So, you know, even though it's not going to be punching very heavily, it is going to be a good mech for, you know, think of it like a heavier medium rather than a heavy mech in itself. Even though it's in a heavy class, it is definitely more of a fast mech designed to get around, outmaneuver your enemy and keep on the move rather than, you know, getting into any slapping matches with another heavy mech. So where this mech really shines, however, is as the Grand Dragon, which looks pretty much identical from what I've seen, so you can just use this model for both. And 3025, it's alright, but 3050 it really excels because it gets a nice XL engine squeezed in there, which jumps its movement up to 6.9. Now 6.9 in a heavy mech with heavy armour is real nice because it's got the heavy armour, but then it's also got the movement armour as well. You know, keeping it moving, jumping around, and there is even one variant which has got Mask, which gives it 12 hexes of movement, and there is always the risk of, you know, critical in your actuators in the process, but it's a very small risk if you run it nicely. And again, it's got a couple of nice loadouts as a Grand Dragon. It swaps out the autocannon for PPC and some heat sinks, which is great because, you know, autocannons are great and everything, but the ammo risk and, you know, the general weight of autocannons does put them at a bit of a disadvantage, and I do prefer particle projection cannons, to be honest. But this is a lovely sculpt, as you saw. They really give it a nice glow up with the new Kickstarter. So next up is another mech with a very similar aesthetic on the shoulders, and that is the Thug. Let's get that in focus for you guys. And check that sculpt out. Now this is an assault mech in not only name but nature as well. It's 80 tons, it's got 4/6 movement, and it's usually armed with some sort of particle projection cannons teamed up with some SRMs. It does vary what type of particle projection cannons. In later eras you do get the ER PPCs, and I think there's one version with snub-nosed PPCs, I'm not certain. And then obviously there is the 13K, which swaps out the SRMs for a third particle projection cannon of the heavy variety, and really goes all out. The only problem with the 13K, in my opinion, not enough heat sinks to really use all them weapons. But yeah, this thing is really packing a punch, and it slabs on the armor as well. This one is, you know, this thing really does work for those points you're spending on it. And it's another lovely sculpt. Let's bring that round to the rear for you guys to have a look at. That is really nice. Lots of really nice crisp edges, lots of little bits for, like, you know, a good wash to catch or that kind of thing. You know, this is a dry brusher's dream looking at this paint job. It's really nice, and I'm really looking forward to getting this one painted up. So yeah, that is the Thug, a nice 80-ton assault mech that will really, really pull its weight in a battle. And the final mech from this lance is the Cyclops. Let's get that into focus for you. I realise it's only got one eye, so it's going to be out of focus for a little bit. Come on. Okay, so that's in focus for you guys now, and this is another lovely sculpt. As you can see, it's got real nice details. The details on that nice autocannon on there, and the LRM rack on the other side, that is really nice, and they've really gone all out. Even the head looks spectacular. I always thought the Cyclops had a silly looking head in the past, but this one is really nice. And on the tabletop, it's a little lackluster. It's a 90-ton assault mech, but they've tried to give it speed with 4/6 movement, which does take away a little bit from the weapon loadout, but it is still an assault mech, and it is still packing a fair decent punch. Usually sporting some sort of, you know, twin LRM-10s or LRM-10s and an autocannon 20, that kind of deal, and some medium lasers for backup, of course. And later variants do mix in a lot of Gauss rifles, which is always fun. The more Gauss rifles, the better, I say. And it is a fairly versatile mech. It can engage from all ranges, but generally it doesn't have one specific range that it's a master of. I mean, later on, when you got the Gauss and the LRMs teamed up, that does make it more of a long-range slug-in mech than anything else. It does have the armor to do that, and it does have a fair bit of speed as well at 4/6 movement. But generally, I think squeezing that larger engine in there, giving it 4/6 movement, has kind of hampered this mech's ability, in my opinion. I mean, that is just my opinion. You may think differently. It is entirely dependent on your playstyle. But, you know, it's not going to be a big damage dealer, but that maneuverability is a bonus that you can make use of. So my general opinion on this lance is it is a nice little lance. It's two big boys that can take a beast in. They've got the armor to really go for it. And there's two quick little speedy boys, especially that spider with its 8-12-8 movement. That is ridiculous. That is going to really annoy someone on the battlefield. And that dragon, if you played as a Grand Dragon with 6-9 movement, that's not bad in itself. And they both got the weapons and the heat sinks to really, you know, get around and really annoy people while they're focused on beating up those two big bastards. So it is a nice little lance, a nice little mix of mechs, and a nice little mix of weaponry. And the sculpts are excellent as always. So I am actually really, really happy with this lance. And like I said earlier, if you want to pick it up yourself, you know, you can pick them up online. At the moment, eBay is full of price gouges, so we're charging ridiculous prices for this. But if you're in the South Wales area, as I mentioned earlier, check out Mayhem Wargames over in Tredegar. They have just opened, and the owner has said that he is willing to order stuff in for people. So that is an excellent place to go. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, drop some comments below. Tell me what your favourite mechs are from this lance, and whether you've received this lance yourself or not. Other than that, you have a most excellent day, an amazing week, and I will see you guys in the next video. Okay, take care, ta-ra.